Hi everyone, welcome to RPA Explorers channel.
I hope everyone are doing good, and in today's video we are going to see another use case, which is read CSV and write them into a target application, which is your web application. So I'm going to show how you can read CSV and how you can get your data from each row and write the values into a web application. And before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done, and also don't forget to like this specific video to reach more people, because I see good number of views but not likes. So don't forget to like this video or any video that you're watching, so that it can recommend more people and that is beneficial for me as well. So without any delay, now let's get into the use case. So now I have a CSV which I'm going to write it to the application. So this is the application which is called practiceexpanding.com. And if you want to access this application, and you can simply type practice.expanding.com, and there you have plenty of websites which you can use to practice it. So this is some random website, and here I'm using this web inputs page. Okay, so you can go to this web input page and you can take the URL, and this is the first application that I'm using. So you can click on this try it out, and that will redirect to the actual page. So basically this is just a simple input page wherein you have to enter some fields like number, your input text, password and date. And after you click on it, you can just click on this display input, which will be displaying whatever you type over here. Let's type 2, and I have a sample text and password. Let's also choose random date. Okay, now let me click on display input, and it's just simple that it will display your input. Now let's look at the Excel as well. Sheet 1 expand testing inputs, and then it has 4 different columns like your number, text area, password and date. Okay, and now let me close it, and we'll quickly get the path and we'll start developing it. So first step is to get the path of the Excel. With CSV, you do not have to use any connectors. So if you go to your toolbox and type in CSV, you get these two, which is called read from CSV and write from CSV. So in this video I'll also show how you can read your CSV as well. So first, let's use this read from CSV activity, sorry, the component. And now let's provide the file path. So this is the file, and the second parameter is your start row. So if you want to start reading your CSV from the first row, so you have to make it to 0. If you give the 1, it will start reading from your second row. So you can adjust it. And then the delimiter, which is basically for CSV, comma is a delimiter. So here I have just given a comma. This is the default one. And then you have is first row header. So in my case the first row is header, so let it true. Okay, if I simply run this, you can view the total count of the rows in the Excel, which is 5. That is good. And here you can view the data table. So we can view the data table. Okay, and this is good. So now after we read the Excel, you have to get the rows from the data table and then write to the target application, right? But if you look here, for CSV do not have any other components, or you do not also have any connectors to interact with. So if you go to your plugins, like if we click on add connectors, you will have your Microsoft Excel, Word, Outlook, but not anything related to CSV. Okay, so right now we just have only these two components, and without read and write you cannot read your Excel rows, right? For which we are going to use your data table connector, so which I have explained, or I have created plenty of use cases on that as well, so I can watch them. So I'm going to add that connector, which is called data table model. So simply you can click on this and you can filter with data table or table. So this is called table. Okay, and I have added that. Okay, this is the one. So if you double click, you will be able to view a plenty of methods, and from here I'm just going to get this set table. So if you watch my data table video, you'll be knowing that why I'm using this set and all. So if I use this set data table, this will, I mean whatever table I'll give will be set into this specific data table model connector. So now I am just going to over here. So if you want to view it, so you can simply get your table. Okay, so I'll just show how the data table gives us. I'll run from here, and if you see, you will be able to view the same table that you get from here. And after you set the table, then you can use any other data table method. You can get each rows. Okay, now in order to get the rows, so you have something called get row data, which will give you the entire row. So when I say entire row, it just give you this complete row, and this row, but what we want is to get each cell one by one. For example, when we take the number column, we should be taking 1 2 3 4 5 6, I mean each row as a separate cell, right? So instead of row data, I'm going to use something called cell. So let's take the cell, get cell values. You also have this get cell value, but this is just to get a single cell value, but in our case we have to get a list of cells, right? So I'm just getting my cell values, and here on top of this, click on this gear icon where you can add your index. I'll quickly open my input excel, sorry, the input CSV, and also in the preview you can see that it was separated by comma. Okay, and here you have 0 0 1 2 and 3. So now I'm going to add them over here. So it's called 0 1 2 and 3. If required you can also change it, but I'm not going to change anything, so let's click on OK. So after you click, you will be able to view it. So here let's say that I want to get the row 1 data, so I'll give row 1 here. Let's clear and we'll rerun it. Okay, okay, I have kept it open, so let me close it. Don't save. Okay, if you keep the excel open, then it is already open, right? So I do not have the permission to read it, so I'll close and we'll run it now. Okay, if you weave, you will be weaving the day row 1 data. So here this is the last column. Let's weave the first, which is number 456, and then you will be able to weave the text, then your password and everything. And so here you have to loop through each row, right? For which we are going to use for loop. And here I'm going to start from index 2, and then the 2 should be my total rows. Okay. And then let's use get cell value over here. Now just to confirm it, I'll display the outputs individually. Okay, and I'm going to use this show component. So it's the password column 3. Okay, it has some error. Okay, I think the index should be from 1 for CSV, so let me give 1 and we'll try it out. Okay, basically for CSV, so you have to give the start index as 0, not 1 or 2 as we give for Excel. So I'm just giving 0 with start from the first row. Okay, so if you see, this is 1 2 3, this is the first row, and this is 4 5 6 7 8 9, and this is next one. Okay, now this is printed. Okay, if you see that we have that index is out of table range, it might be because that we have that count as 5, right? Let me check it. So we have the count as 5 and the index of the CSV, and it starts from 0 to 5, not 1 to 5, but the total number of count itself is 5, right? So what we can do is, as we are starting from 0, it should be just minus 1 from the total count, right? So you can transform your data, like I'll enable this and I'm just minus 1 from the total count, and this should be good. Now let's run this. Okay, 1 2 third input 4 5. Okay, so now this is completed. This is not the case for Excel, where we'll start the index actually from 2, but here you literally have to start from 0, but the end index should be your total count minus 1. So now this is working perfectly, and now the next step is to configure this application using any available connector and just enter the inputs over here, right? So again I'm going to use universal application connector, and also you have chromium connector which you can deal with your Chrome or Edge. Okay, but okay, I already have it, so let's use that. And this is the connector. Okay, I'll just configure my application over here. Here I'll choose my Edge and I'll refresh it. If you filter it, you will be able to view all the application. So let me close one of them, maybe this one also. I'll refresh it again and you just have only one. So let's add your screen and quickly let's configure all of them. So for the first one, I just want to change the comparators contains. So let's say if it contains web input page, and similarly for the URL also we'll change it. Okay, it's not necessary but you have to do it, but it's better that you always have this comparison type is contains to avoid any issues being faced with selector. Okay, and also I'm not going to select this index, and this defines the tab that you have opened. So right now it is 0 because it is opened in the 0 tab. If you have already another application opened in the 0th tab and this application is opened on the first tab, then this won't work. So I'm just removing that match rules. Okay, so if you refresh it, it should be good. And now let's right click on it to capture your element. So let's capture the first element. So I have already explained how you have to capture it, what are the rules to capture on universal application connector, so I can watch them. Now I'm going to quickly just add it. So first drag to your actual position, press Ctrl, and then you can add it. This is the first field, my second field, this is third, and next one is my date. Okay, and also after that we have to click on display input. So for every input we have to display it and clear it for the next process, right? So just I'll capture this as well, clear input, cancel it. And now if you go to here, you can refresh your screen so you can see all of them. If you want, you can also change your name over here, but I'm not going to change anything, but you can do it. Okay, and also if you want to have any particular attributes, like the attribute ID should be this one, so you can just select any of them. Okay, now we are good. So let's remove it. So first is to open this application, right? So double click on it and let's go to your toolbox and filter with start. Okay, so you have called start app. Now I have used this start app which is from toolbox and provided my file path. So for a web application you have to provide this file path, so which is run. So if I run this, it will open an application. So now this is opening an application, which is good. And now the next task is to write them into the application. So now open the configured screen. So first is this input number, which is this element, right? So you have to set that number to that field. So let me drop it over here, set value, which is your, and then your input text. Again I'm going to use, you can also use send keys, but I'm just going with set text. Okay, if you use the send keys, you also have an option to remove your existing field, so you can also use this. And then input password, let's use it. Maybe for the date I'll go with send keys. Okay, because this is something different from the other text fields, so I'll just go with send keys. And now you have to do it, and after you enter all your field, the next is to click on display output, so which should be on click. So once you click on it, for the next looping you have to just clear them, right? So I'll use clear, and which I'm going to click it. Okay, now let me close it, and now we are good to run. Let's see. So now the application is launched, and also if you see that it is selecting the input, and you can view that it is clicking on clear input, and you can view the input as well. So it's 101. Okay, it's 202. Let's look at the index, it should be 4. So yeah, now it has completed entering each and every field over here and clicked on display output and then clear input. So now this is good, and this is how we can read your input CSV. And this is not just that you have to read it from file, you can use any other, like your notepad. If you have a comma separated value, then give that notepad text as input over here, that will read and it will do the actions for you. And in case if you want to read any particular CSV and write that into another CSV, you can use this component which is called write to CSV. So you can use this CSV, which has, like, you have to provide a different file path, and the data that you get from over here, and the delimiter. If you have any different delimiter on your input, so you can change them. Okay, and this is to define if you want to append your CSV or you just want to overwrite it. So it depends on your case. And also moreover, this reading your CSV, it's nearly same as your Excel, but in Excel you have the inbuilt connector method, but here you do not have it, so you are using an external data table connector methods to achieve it. So I hope you guys find this video helpful. In case, make sure you like and subscribe as I said earlier. Also don't forget to like this video, and thank you so much for watching this video till the end. Take care and bye bye.